Okay, Chapter 11, Managing Bond Portfolios. The most important topics that, at least for us, in this chapter are going to be duration and immunization. We'll also talk about convexity as well, but make sure that you understand, have a good understanding of or, how to calculate duration and what it means, and how to immunize a portfolio and how to and understand what that means as well. Um, so what we need to understand when we're managing bond portfolios is interest rate risk or interest rate sensitivity. So bond prices and yields are inversely related. That's fairly simple. Yields go up, prices go down. Yields go down, prices go up. Increase in the bond yields, yield to maturity, results in a smaller price change than a decrease of the equal magnitude. So if rates go up by 1%, the change in price is going to be less than the change in price would be if the yield went down by 1%. Long-term bonds are more sensitive to interest rate changes than short-term bonds. Makes sense. The cash flows are outstanding for a longer period of time, longer time period to discount those cash flows. As maturity increases, the sensitivity of bond prices to yields increases at a decreasing rate. We'll see this in the chart coming up, how this works. The interest rate risk is inversely related to a bond's coupon rate, meaning low coupons are more sensitive to interest rates. The most sensitive, the most interest rate sensitive bonds are zero coupon bonds, which we'll talk about in a minute. Sensitivity of a bond's price to yield change is inversely related to the current yield to maturity. So if the yield to maturity is low, it's more sensitive. If the yield to maturity is high, it's less sensitive. And again, we'll see this in the upcoming chart. So figure 11.1, the change in bond prices as a function of change in yield to maturity. So we start by looking at A. We have a 12% coupon bond with an initial yield to maturity of 10%. So we can see that A, being a shorter maturity and a high yield to maturity, is less sensitive to changes in yield to maturity. If we move to B, we have a 12% coupon bond with a 30-year maturity and the same 10% yield to maturity. Again, now it becomes slightly more volatile, so more interest rate sensitive. Then we move to 3% coupon with a 30-year maturity and a 10% yield to maturity. Then that's C, that bond is more interest rate sensitive. It makes sense. We have a low coupon bond with a high yield to maturity, but it's less sensitive than D, which is a low coupon bond with a lower yield to maturity. So that's the very last item. So a low coupon bond with a lower initial yield to maturity or low yield to maturity is going to be more interest rate sensitive. We'll begin to understand this more as we move forward through the chapter. So 11.1, this is interest rate risk, a coupon rate and sensitivity. So on top, we've got an 8% annual coupon bond. And then on the bottom, we've got zero coupon bonds. So we've got 1, 10, and 20 years. So note that the 8% coupon bond and the zero coupon bond, the price change is identical. They're unaffected. They're affected the same rate by this is interest rates going from 8% to 9%. So the decline in price is identical, 0.92%, because the cash flows, there's only one cash flow remaining for both bonds. So you would expect them to, but when we compare, we go to 10 years, and that 1% change in interest rates results in a almost 6.5% decline in price for the bond. However, that change is even greater for the zero coupon bond. Because there aren't any intermediate cash flows. The only cash flow is at the very end for this zero coupon bond. The price change is greater, a decline of 8.8%. Then we move on to 20 years with the coupon bond. That change in price is 9.13%. Then with the zero coupon bond, it's even greater. It's a decline in price of 16.84%. So, and to do these calculations, all we're doing is taking the ending price minus the beginning price divided by the beginning price. So the rate of return formula that we've used previously.